Hi students, welcome to another session. So far we are dealing with unit 3, the basis of human behavior. So in that we have understood evolution and dealing in two ways, that is biological and cultural. So in the last session we discussed biological basis of behavior and cultural basis are what are the factors, what are the differences, what are the key points in those biological way and cultural way. And now we will see in detail of biological basis of behavior. In that, the very important topic is neural functioning, that is nervous system. We will see the structure of neuron today, and let us jump into the topic. I have to share the another thing. Yeah, neuron and its structure. So what do you mean by neuron? It is simply a cell body. It is like you can compare it to the physics knowledge as an atom. Okay, so these atoms are like neurons, are part of the nervous system. Billions of neurons constitute a nervous system. So this is a typical structure of neuron, and it has a few important parts which we have to remember, and these parts play a key role in the functioning of neuron. In order to understand the functioning of neuron, we have to have good awareness of these parts. The branch like structures, it is like a human, if you can see, it is a head, trunk and legs. It is like legs are the like hand like structures. You can similarly in the head like structure and the hair, it is they are called the dendrites. The head like structure is soma. In the trunk, in the trunk the gaps between the this sheet is nodes of Ranvier, and at the end again the branches are there. These branches are terminal buttons. The sheet which is covered for the shirt like structure, the cloth like structure, it is called myelin sheath. It is a cover, it is a layer. The connecting part between the trunk and the head is axon. We call it as axon. Of course, it is the function which goes is axon transmitting. And as we said, it is similar to atom. Atom has nucleus, and this neuron has also have a nucleus. In the head like structure, it is nucleus, and generally electrons will be flowing in this area. Okay, those electron flowing area is cytoplasm. Generally we can simply remember in such a way as a human body structure. In the head there are dendrites, axon and terminal buttons, soma, dendrite, soma and axon. These three, one, two, three. These three are very important parts, and terminal buttons are also important along with them. Of course, to understand a good uh, way, we compared it to an atom, and even neuron also has some electric potential, nerve potential. You can call it as electric potential, nerve potential. This is really important during the transmission or shooting of neurons. We will have in detail knowledge of functioning of a neuron and the nervous system in the coming sessions. So, but for a clear understanding, this is the structure of neuron. and you should have, I think in board exams or during the 10th class or SSC, you will have this neuron in the science or particularly biology. Okay, let us move to the next slide. So neuron is a basic unit of our nervous system. Basic unit in the nervous system. What is the units you call as neuron? Neurons are specialized cells which possesses the unique property of converting various forms of stimuli into the electrical impulses. If, for example, say a human being has five sensory organs, say the skin, ears, eyes, tongue, taste, nose, smell. These five sensory organs will receive information. When you see a tree, for example, your eyes are seeing a tree. This is a mad tree, I know. But see, when you are seeing an object, you will receive some information and the brain will be processing, right? The brain will be processing. Just imagine, okay? It is not a good application to draw. So when you receive information from the eyes, so the stimulus is the object. What is getting stimulated? Sensory organ. Sensory organ getting stimulated. When you receive information, the eyes transfer information as a electric impulse. A shock will happen and this is transferred to brain. Transferred to brain in the form of impulses, electrical impulses. But who is carrying the information? Neurons. The head-like structure dendrites will be connected to terminal buttons and one is transferring and other is receiving. This will happen overall the chain of neurons and the information is processed, forwarded to the brain, and from the brain, sensory organ to brain and brain to the hands or the reactive organs. These are which is a cycle happens with the help of neurons. They are also specialized for reception, conduction, transmission of it. So receiving information, sending information, that is conducting, and also transmitting information from one place to another. Okay, in the form of electrochemical signals. These electrochemical signals, electric impulses, we will see in detail in the coming chapters. They receive information from the sense organs, which I said from the eyes. They receive information, what is getting stimulated. Eyes are the sensory organ. They get stimulated by the outside environment. They receive information from sense organs or from other adjacent neurons. So the neurons which are connected to eye will receive the information, and then the neurons again, the chain, they form a chain until the brain. So this chain, one receives, one sends. All this happens like a cycle. Carry them to the central nervous system, brain and spinal cord. Brain and spinal cord will be the part of central nervous system. There is peripheral nervous system and multiple types of nervous system. The main system which is connected to the brain and spinal cord is central nervous system. Next to it is bring motor information which is movement oriented from central nervous system to the motor organs such as muscles and glands. These are the receivers. Sensory organs are the receivers. Motor organs are the reactors. Receivers versus reactors. Once we receive the information, it will be transferred to central nervous system. Central nervous transfers to the reactive organs. So this happens. This is the simple structure in a cycle structure from the sense organ to the brain or spinal cord and motor organs. Receivers, central nervous system, reactors. This is the basic cycle, and how it happens? By neurons. Okay, neuron has a structure. What is here? Dendrites, soma, axon, terminal buttons, myelin sheet. These are the very important parts and each has its own role. We have to have a good understanding of the neuron, and it is really important. It forms the base of the understanding for the human behavior. There can be several types, and even nervous system is also several types. So we have to have a good understanding of how the information is received, transmitted, and also sent. Okay, next, nearly 12 billion, 1200 crores of neurons. 1200 crores of neurons are found in human nervous system, particularly human beings. There are many types and vary considerably in shape, size, chemical composition and function. So what are the important? Shape of the nerves, size, chemical composition and function. So chemical composition comes from the glands or the system, and these are the important types we have to consider during the study of neuron and its process. Despite these differences, they share three fundamental components, that is soma, dendrites and axon. These are the things. Some neurons may have myelin sheet or not, some may not have terminal buttons, some may not be connected. All these, but every neuron has three important parts, that is soma, and how they differentiated based on shape, size, chemical composition and function. These are the important things we have to note down. Next, soma or cell body is the main body. In the head, we have seen nucleus, right? In that nucleus, and the other one we have is soma. Main body of the nerve cell, which contains nucleus of the cell as well as other structures common to the living cells of all types. This is called soma and this is the nucleus. Okay. The genetic material of the neuron is stored inside the nucleus. Yes, inside the nucleus, it is the genetic material. How it has to perform, what is the requirement, what information has to receive. It is which part of the nervous system it is. Become actively engaged during cell reproduction and protein synthesis. So, what does the nucleus do? Nucleus reacts with other neurons and generates some energy. It can be anything. It is reproduction or protein, but it is generating. The soma also contains most of the cytoplasm fluid of the neuron. Here, the soma, which contains fluids, most cytoplasm, which is the cell fluid for the neuron. Okay, next. Dendrites are the branch, like as I said here, these are the dendrites, right? This is the axon, and these are the terminal buttons. So Soma decided these are the dendrites. Dendrites. Receiving. They are the receiving ends of the neuron. These are the receivers. These will be connected to terminal buttons. Okay. Their function is to receive the incoming neuron impulses from adjacent neurons or from directly from sense organs. I think F is missed. Directly from sense organs. Either if the other neuron is connected, to this, they will transfer information. But if it is not connected, it is directly connected to the sense organ, it directly receives information from the sense organ, that can be eyes, ears, skin, anything. On dendrites, we have 12 billion neurons. It is everywhere. The human body itself is completely uh, packed with neurons. On dendrites are found special receptors which become active when a signal arrives electrochemical or biochemical form. The received signals are passed on to soma and then to the axon, so that the information is relayed to another neuron or muscles. The axon conducts the information along its length, which can be several feet into the spinal cord and less than a millimeter in the brain. In the brain, it is completely packed. It is packed. But in the spinal cord, as it is lengthier, some centimeters will cover these neurons. Okay, but in brain, they will be closely packed. They will be closely packed. The axon conducts the information. As the dendrites receive information, the soma will be there and the axon will be taking care of the information received. There will be time consuming, but this is a very quick process. As soon as you touch fire, you will reflect, you will take the hand. As soon as you see a friend, you will wave your hand, you will shake your hand, you will call him, how are you? All these questions will be happening by the receiving of the information. Okay, this is the main functioning of dendrites. Next, the conduction of information from one place to another in the nervous system is done through the nerves in the nervous system. Previously, what is all? It is a part of nerve. Dendrite, soma, axon are there. But what is a nervous system unit? It is neuron. Nerves are mainly of two types, sensory and motor nerve. What are the two types? Sensory nerves and motor nerves. Sensory nerves also affect neurons carrying information from sense organs to the central nervous system. On the other hand, motor nerves, also called efferent nerves, carry information from central nervous system to muscles or glands. A motor nerve conducts neural commands which direct, control or regulates our movements and other responses. There are some mixed nerves also, but sensory and motor fibers in these nerves are separate. So to have a basic understanding, they are talking about sensory and motor. For the school functioning, it is like regulating our movements and other responses. So these two are more important, sensory and motor nerves are really important in understanding the structure or functioning of the neuron. Okay, next. Okay, so I think we will be seeing in detail about these functioning of neuron, how the information is transmitted, as we have basic knowledge of the three important concepts of this structure of neuron is dendrites, soma, and axon. The overall, we have a very good understanding of structure of neuron and the main parts, how they are differentiated. They are differentiated with the help of size, characteristic, what are the material used, and what are all the parts involved in this neuron. So types of neuron, the functioning of the neuron, these has to be considered before uh, dealing with this chapter. So, and even nerve is the neuron is the unit of calculation in uh, nervous system. There can be different nervous system, but this will give you the basic understanding. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for your session. For this time, have a great day.